This is me. This is my beloved wife, Sylvia. This is Sylvia's idea of sailing. This is my dream of sailing and my hope of circumnavigating the globe as a retirement project in 2029. This is Sylvia's reaction to that idea.
What? You got a quest?
I am on a 6-year quest to convince Sylvia that a circumnavigation is a wonderful adventure, but the clock is ticking, so join me as I search for the perfect yacht that Sylvia will love, and get all your ladies to subscribe and cheer Sylvia on in the comments. Welcome back to Naval Gazing at Camp David. We're heading back to Bordeaux for a little surprise. On the off chance that Sylvia wouldn't bail with the healing action, it's a new yacht episode dedicated to MONOHULL Heresy and Jeanneau's beautiful Yacht 60. Today, we are going to 1. Review its specifications, pricing, and layout against 3 similar new vessels. 2. Do a full tour asking, what would Sylvia say? 3. Naval gaze at innovation and or adjustment that just might make life aboard a little easier. 4. Have a look at all the used market for 3 to 5 year old pre-owned comparables. And 5. Give it a Dave score and compare the result with all our previously reviewed yachts. All this fun will be sandwiched between a wine and a work of art from the same region as the guest yacht in an effort to capture the culture and people who gave birth to these wonderful vessels. Waves, wine, art, and ideas. What a great way to spend 30 minutes. So let's get going. From high above Vancouver, we head east across the continent and the Atlantic to the western shores of France and the excess yards in Bordeaux. From here, we fly north up the coast for a visit to Les Havres and the yards of Jeanneau Yachts, the home of this week's guest boat, the Yacht 60. Finally, we turn around and head back south down the coast to another little surprise. This week's pairing is Saint Vivant Armagnac. Armagnac is frequently mistaken for its cousin Cognac. It was easy for the Dutch and English to trade in Cognac, as transportation of the brandewijn, or burnt wine brandy, used to fortify wine during transportation, was easy via Charentes River. However, further to the south, the landlocked AC of Armagnac was in a tough position, and as such unable to capitalize on the slightly earthy, fuller spirit created in Gascony. What this meant was that Armagnac struggled to be noticed by the world, and as time marched on, eventually the industry was hit hard by disease and then prohibition and several world wars. Armagnac distillers didn't change the Alembic Armagnacais single column still they used to produce their spirit in either originally with about 3 plates or today's versions that have only 15 to 20 plates. This means Armagnac is fruitier, deeper, and richer than the average cognac, and it's only distilled once and with seconds, the tails of the distillation process. There aren't many liters of Armagnac being produced today, just a fraction of what is made in cognac. But with tastes changing to deeper and richer spirits around the world, Armagnac's fortunes look ready to rise again. Armagnac is made from Baco 22A, a crossing of Folie Blanc and the hybrid Noah. Folie Blanc or Colombard, in addition to 9 other possible white grapes in 3 crus. The best being Bas Armagnac, Tendresse, or the Lesser Haut Armagnac. Made in France, it has a full taste and a rich tradition that dates back to 1559, when Saint Vivant de la Salle produced the first bottle of brandy Armagnac. The famous crooked bottle recalls the original bottles used by Saint Vivant. Today, Saint Vivant still uses white wine grapes native to southwestern French region of Gascony. These grapes are still fermented and distilled in a traditional copper pot. The distillate is aged in oak barrels until they turn into a tasty brandy. The St. Vivant winery thus begins its delicate task of mixing the spirits until it reaches the consistent flavor and its distinctive amber color with golden reflections. Very good to taste at the end of the evening to savor one of the most ancient traditions enclosed in a bizarre bottle.
Oh, I think you're going to enjoy that. Cheers, let's go have a look at that boat.
Looking at the Jeanneau 60, I mean, honestly, there is a romance about the monohulls that I can't get away from. It tugs at my heartstrings and my imagination. And this vessel with its sleek lines and that beautiful convertible hardtop that give you the best of both worlds. It gives you the security and shelter of an ML with the wide open deck spaces and views of a Jeanneau. I mean, it is absolutely fantastic. You can see there that beautiful aft dinghy garage that just cleans everything up. There's no davits or dinghies hanging around. And every line on this vessel is sleek and beautiful. The windows and the side hull are huge. There again is that beautiful aft swim platform, a gentle step down onto it. Beautiful forward spray hood there with lots of clears on it. I mean, just look at the comfort you have with that huge settee right across the back. Today, we're going to compare our Jeanneau Yacht 60 to the iconic Jeanneau Yacht 65, the Dufour 61, the brand new Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60, and the gorgeous Hylas 57. You can see them all here in their profile. The Hylas 57, of course, really has quite a striking, sleek profile. In this particular one, it doesn't show the hardtop, which it can do a little damage to that. The beauty of the Jeanneaus is they've integrated their hardtops and their convertible hardtops into the lines of the boat. And it really adds to it, in my opinion, as opposed to subtracting from it. Looking at the overall upwind sail area, I want to remind you the Dufour 61, I could not find a self-tacking jib sail area for this one. So we're looking at slightly elevated upwind sail areas using the Jeanneau. So in this case, the Dufour 61 comes out artificially on top at 170 square meters, followed by the Jeanneau 65 at 168 square meters. Then the Hylas 57 at 152, the Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60 at 139, and the Oceanus Yacht 60 at 131. Heading down onto the decks, you can see the dimensions of these boats. You've got the Jeanneau Yacht 65. It's 67 foot long by 18 foot beam. The next one there is going to be the Dufour at 63 long and an 18-foot beam. So the same beam with 4 less feet in length. And boy, you can tell it. I saw one of these in Greece because, of course, that beam extends straight back to the aft. You can see how the 65 and the 60 all taper in. The 61 and the 60 the Jeanneau, the Dufour 61 and the Beneteau Oceanus 60 all extend their full beam right to the aft, and boy, you can see it. I was in Greece and I walked behind one of these and stopped dead in my tracks because it looked like a tennis court on the back deck. Then we go to the Beneteau Oceanus 60 at 62 long and 17.5 wide. Then we go to the Jeanneau Yacht 60 at 60 long and 17.1 wide, which still is some significant beam on only, 3 feet less than the Dufour. And finally, we have the Hylas, just a wee bit less at 59.5 feet and 17 in beam. Again, the dimensions are very similar to the Jeanneau 60. Looking at the deck space, you can see the expansive forward deck on the Dufour 61. It's huge for its size. The Jeanneau Yacht 65 feels large just because that yacht is so large. The Jeanneau 60 feels dimensionally right. And I don't know how to say this, but I got behind the helm, and even with the little experience I have, I mean, my closest thing to this would be an X yacht, a 38-foot X yacht out in Howe Sound. And I stood behind the helm of this, looked forward, and felt totally at ease and comfortable. There was no twinge in my stomach or anything going, how would I ever handle this? I got behind the Jeanneau Yacht 65, looked forward, and I had a knot in my gut. I got behind the helm of the Dufour 61, looked forward, and had a little lesser knot, but still a knot. That Jeanneau 60, Yacht 60, feels incredibly comfortable. You feel in command, you feel in control, you feel sheltered and safe. It really is quite a sensation. The Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60, quite nice. They've done a nice pad up there for the sun pad. They've got lots of space. They do have a hard top that goes on that. You know, it's a nice yacht. I was not as in love with the interior. We'll get to that in a second. Hylas 57, oh my goodness. This is a gorgeous vessel from stem to stern. I had the incredible good fortune of being invited with Bill Dixon and his son Matt, who designed this vessel, to view two new ones, an absolute gorgeous sort of high-end completed one, and then with the couple and owners of the brand new, didn't even have the mast stepped yet, gorgeous blue-hulled vessel, and wandered around it. It had not been commissioned fully, but I mean, just you couldn't get past the beauty of the thing. So that was quite an experience. Moving into the saloon and sleeping areas, this gets rather interesting. In my opinion, the full beam aft is a must. I don't understand why anybody splits up that aft beam with two cabins. I just don't get it. So the Yacht 65 has it, the Jeanneau 60 has it, and the Hylas have it. And of course, all of your other high-end yachts have it, whether it's Oyster or Contest or you name it. They've got that lovely full beam master aft berth, which to me is an absolute must. You can see, the Jeanneau 65 has acres of space inside. The Dufour 61 is surprising. That beam and the inclusion of these massive skylights just forward of or above the forward galley. When you're sitting in that L seat there, that L-shaped settee, that those windows catch the corner of your eye and create such a sense of space. It's unbelievable. It feels like you could, just play tennis across the beam of this boat. I'm not quite sure how they pull it off. I'm not as excited about that forward berth, the master suite. I like a full three-sided walk around. This is, sort of 2.5. It's okay. And the split aft berths have huge headroom. So they're pretty good, but it's such a waste of a brilliant space. The Jeanneau Yacht 60, that aft full beam master with the inclusion of a full tender garage is fantastic. In fact, that tender garage I thought would take away from that aft beam cabin, and to my complete surprise, it does not. I don't know what it is, a trick of your mind or whatever, but it feels great in that aft master. And the way you've got so many options and modules to configure your main salon there, it's fantastic. The galley is huge, and you can put in that full refrigerator that we're going to see, full height refrigerator, stainless steel. It looks gorgeous. In this configuration with the split forward cabins, again, not a huge fan of this configuration, but they've done something very unique, whereas that center wall slides back perfectly in between the two forward heads. And it is easy, it's neat, it's tidy. It really adds a level of internal configuration that's quite unique. The only Oceanus Yacht 60, not my favorite layout. I think they tried too hard trying to make this different than the 62. I applaud them for going back to a standard full beam salon. I really didn't like the way the kitchen was split up on one side and then the salon on the other side, and I'm forced to look at my dirty dishes and blah, blah, blah. I like this far better. They've done a forward galley, but the treatment of the master suite, spinning the bed around, it's just trying too hard. It was far better as just a standard V-berth facing aft. Moving to the Hylas, again, this is my favorite configuration. There is no other configuration, in my opinion. This is the Oyster, the Hylas, the contest configuration. I don't know why anybody else tries to do any other configuration in a monohull other than this configuration. You have a full beam aft master that is absolutely gorgeous. You have the galley on the starboard side running up the hull. Perfect use of that space. Then you have a beautiful, huge salon. In this case, you have a deck salon, which is great light coming in. Moving forward, you have a Pullman to the starboard. Nice space there. Turn it into a storage or a workshop. In the case of the Hylas, you have a built-in workbench there that you can just slip off the mattress, and you got a full workbench. It's fantastic. Real great use of space. You have that storage. You have that utility. Or you have that ability to stuff a couple of kids or a couple in there on 2 bunks. But it gives you then your beautiful bow, V-berth, 3-side walk around VIP cabin for your real guests. Who wants more than 4 people on a boat this size anyways? I can't imagine it. But maybe the kids or the grandkids or whatever, stuff them there or put them up on deck with on the cushions. They'd love it up there. But this is the only configuration. Jeanneau, Beneteau, stop trying so hard. All of you guys, whether it's Dufour or any of them, you got to stop it. This is the configuration to go with. Looking at the numbers heading across the top line, the Jeanneau Yacht 60 is, in this crowd, an incredible value at €859,700. Next one to it is the Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60 at $914, so about 70 grand more. Then you've got your Dufour at 1.3. And finally, then you've got your Hylas at 1.6, and finally your Jeanneau Yacht 65 at 1.655. Now, the delta between the Dufour and the Hylas, man, I'm sorry, I'd do the Hylas all day long. I'd find the 300 and I'd do the Hylas. It is a significant step up, a step larger than you normally see when you get up to this kind of a yacht, jumping up to that quality of a yacht. As we head down then to the displacement figures, you can see across here we've got the Jeanneau at 32.38 ton, followed by the Hylas at 26.17. Next is the Dufour at 24.08. Then there's the Jeanneau, followed by the Jeanneau at 25.1, the Dufour at 24.08, and the Beneteau at 24.05. Then heading all the way down to capacities here, in the lead is the 65, of course, at 825 liters of fuel and 1,000 liters of water. Next up is, my apologies. The Hylas is in the lead. I've even got it in green. 1,083, so 1,100 liters of fuel and 984 or 1,000 liters of water. So 1,100 and 1,000 fuel and water respectively. Followed by the 65 at 825 and 1,000 fuel and water respectively. Followed by the Dufour at 780 and 880 fuel and water. Followed by the Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60 at 500 and 860 fuel and water. Followed by the Jeanneau Yacht 60 at 318 and 380 fuel and water. Getting into the technical elements here, looking at hull construction materials, the Hylas by far is the leader. And here's some of that well-spent 300. You have vacuum-infused, full vinyl ester resin hull with closed-cell foam core. So this is a very high-quality hull on this yacht. The other four are all about the same. They're going to be an infused polyester. They'll probably have they have a monolithic laminate with Kevlar on the bottom. They'll have a end grain balsa core above the waterline. Again, all infused polyester, probably with something of a vinyl ester or anti-osmotic external. The issue of using balsa versus all foam, it's an interesting argument, and I thought it's a lot less clear cut than I thought it was, and I'd love your comments on this. But end grain cubed balsa as a core is no longer in sheets, it's in cubes. And with the infusion technology we have now, every cube is fully encased in resin, so it's waterproof. If you get a hull penetration, one or two cubes are impacted depending on how big that penetration is, but it doesn't spread through the rest of the hull. It's not a lot different. I mean, if you got that damage, you're going to be cutting that same area out to replace it, whether it's foam or it's the end grain balsa. The other issue is that end grain balsa has better compressive and shear strength than foam. And the final thing is it's fully renewable and far more environmental. A balsa tree grows at a staggering pace, and there's no way we're cutting them all down anytime soon. So I'd love to hear your comments on that. It's a lot closer argument than I actually thought it was. Okay, heading into sailing performance indicators. We've got sail area over displacement, which is an indicator of power. And here you've got the Dufour 60 in the lead, although again, this is measured with its upwind sail area using a Jeanneau compared to self-tacking jibs everywhere else. So with that in mind, it's 20.7. The next one up is going to be the Beneteau Yacht 60, Oceanus Yacht 60 at 18.2. Then the Jeanneau Yacht 60 at 18. Then the Jeanneau Yacht 65 at 17.7. And the Hylas 57 at 17.5. Like nothing to choose between them. Next up is going to be displacement to hull length at the waterline. This is an indication of heaviness. Here, your lowest score wins, and that is the Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60 at 114.9, followed by the Jeanneau Yacht 60 at 119, followed by the Dufour at 122.6, followed by the Hylas at 143, and the Yacht 65 at 155.3. Now, there are ways of putting these into English terms. So on the sail area to displacement, both the Yacht 65, all of the Yacht 65, the Jeanneau Yacht 60, and the Hylas 57 are rated as that rating of sort of 18, 17.7, 17.5 puts them at heavy offshore cruisers. The Dufour 61 and the Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60 are sitting rated as medium cruisers. The displacement to hull length scores put all four boats as rated as light. The comfort ratio here is the next indicator, thus the name, comfort. And the winner here is the Hylas at 35.6, really tied with the Jeanneau Yacht 65 at 35.7, but, it's at least 7 feet shorter. Next up is going to be the Dufour at 27.5, then the Beneteau Yacht 60, Oceanus Yacht 60 at 26, and the Jeanneau Yacht 60 at 25.8. Translated in English, this means that the Dufour 61, the Jeanneau Yacht 60, and the Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60 are classified as coastal cruiser. The Jeanneau Yacht 65 and the Hylas 57, moderate blue water cruising. Now, don't take those as gospel. It's just the descriptive terms that are used. The capsizing screening formula, or CSF, indicates whether these are blue water or not. Anything below a 2 is considered blue water. Anything above a 2, Not a good thing for blue water. All of these indicate blue water capability with among the shorter ones, the Hylas 57 ekes out a lead at 1.8. The rest of them are 1.9. Of course, the Yacht 65, the Jeanneau Yacht 65 is at 1.7. Finally, hull speed. This is a calculation, theoretical calculation. You've got the 461 in the lead at 10.2 knots, other than the Jeanneau Yacht 65. Again, hull length matters, 10.3 knots. The Hylas is the next one at 10.1, tied with the Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60 at 10.1, and then the Jeanneau Yacht 60 at 9.95. Not a lot to choose from there. Okay, hopping on board. What would Sylvia say? Now, bearing in mind, this assumes Sylvia is fine with the healing, which we'll see. I love it. I love the sense. I love the connection. But this is a giant assumption we have to make when we're talking about this boat. So, what would Sylvia say? Well, hopping on board here, you can see you've got that step that comes down. It's almost a little passerelle. That is a step that also leads you then onto the swim platform when it's fully down. So that's pretty cool. There you've got your beautiful bimini garage, or dinghy garage, and hopping up top here, everything is done so well. And this hard top is fantastic. Now here you've got your bow, stern thruster. I can take this thing completely in sideways. Look at your integrated LED direct and indirect lights in that hardtop bimini. It's a full, beautiful convertible, so you can either have full enclosure or peel it back and have the wind in your hair with simply a motion of the arm. You've got full clears that can come all the way around this, making a vast extended space to your living area. This fabulous aft settee. The starboard side there is up to allow you to board, but that goes down when you're in full motion, creating an incredible stretch out space at the aft of the boat and a lovely seating space if you're at the helm. As we swing around, you can see all the cushions are in place. They're beautifully done. Cup holders, beautiful, relaxing, reclining areas everywhere you look. Nice line bags that are put away. And look at this. Not only do you have a refrigerator drawer down there, but you have a full barbecue, sink, tap, cup holders, you name it, you've got it here. And that pops up and you've got your full external kitchen. I mean, you don't see any lines, you don't see any winches mixed in with your folks here. Somebody's put a doorbell on there. I didn't see that when I was first in there. These split tables in the cockpit, love them. One goes all the way down to create massive stretch out space. The other can stay up or down. As we descend in, look at, they've even advanced to the point where they give you the option of carpet and they cut it around your dining area. It really creates a sense of luxury. All of your mechanicals and your electricals easily accessible. That table slides out, flips out, goes up and down. This you've got a beautiful TV enclosure there. That stays there whether you've got the settee or the open space option. And then you've got your forward galley. Step down a few steps. I love the steps. Some people complain about it, but to me it creates a sense of a distinction to the different spaces and a greater sense of space. Look at the size of that fridge. It is massive. And I'm not a huge fan of bleached oak, but this bleached oak, along with those beautiful dark floors, are fantastic. It really created a sense of space, openness, and light. The inlays on the doors are gorgeous. The hardware is gorgeous. They're using a combination of stainless and leather for all the pull handles on everything, and it absolutely looks fantastic. Now, there's the track for your retractable wall that can split this into two separate rooms, and there's the wall retracted. You can see how neat and tidy it is. Now, this is unlike I believe it was the 58, where this particular bunk, that one, could actually turn into a couch. This one doesn't. That's as small as it gets. But you do have all your air conditioning controls here, beautiful little leather inlays, nice Corian countertops with fiddles in the bathrooms. It is a wet head in this configuration. It's a dry head, a single large dry head if you get the forward master. But everything was done really nice. The big advantage to these smaller split forward heads is you do have this door that takes you right into a massive four-peak locker slash storage slash crew cabin. And it's huge. Look at the size of this thing. You've got hangers for your ropes, and you got access out and in. You've got you can have a toilet in here, obviously showering, or just leave it as a massive storage space, which I would, because that's where we'd hang all Sylvia's ball gowns for those Monaco casino nights, right? So let's move back. Look at the space. Look at the sense of light. Look at these skylights in here. You've got a beautiful wine cellar there for your champagnes. And then looking around here, just a vast open space. Look at the integrated indirect lighting everywhere you look. And the moldings on the ceiling. Everything in here really struck me as refined and incredibly well finished. Better than any of the other production boats I was on. Now here's your aft, a full beam master. And again, you do have the dinghy garage encroaching on this, but the funny thing is, it really doesn't impact your perception of space that much. Look at the beautiful upholstered headboard there with the stitching. You got nice ventilation everywhere you look. You got a beautiful little leather settee there, just perfect. You have a TV console here. You have nice drawers and storage there that go under the bimini garage. For some strange reason, I did not go into the master ensuite here. My apologies, but I did it when I came back the second time to see if I still liked this as much as I thought I did. Here, I just wanted to give you a sense of dimension. The space is extremely comfortable. You put a little bigger mirror on the aft wall, and holy mackerel, it would open the whole thing even further up. But no need. It felt very comfortable. Again, I like the little stairs. It gives a sense of differentiation and space. Let's head back up and on into this lovely cockpit and do a little navel gazing. So, this is what we've got, and this is my big beef. Why are you messing and trying to play with layouts when there is one layout that actually works? And that's this one, the classic oyster layout. There it is, your forward V berth for your VIPs, your port side Pullman. Here it is on the Hylas, same thing. Your galley down, in this case, the starboard side. Now, this is about the only variation to that theme that works, and that is that cool Bill Dixon Moody 64 configuration with the offset bunk. Now, here is what I would like to see on the my Yacht 60 if I had it. Dual master suites. So the front master suite with that beautiful big head, lots of storage. The aft master suite, again, lots of space. And then take their starboard aft bunk module and drop it in there. And you have a reverse oyster. This is about the only other configuration that in my mind actually works and is innovative. You have two beautiful big spaces. Like if I'm retiring and I get a condo downtown Vancouver, I'm not going to have more than 2 big bedrooms, and then I'll have a small den or workspace. That's exactly what this is. Why do we need all these freaking berths? So to me, if you're going to have a berth, do it right. Make it feel comfortable for your VIP guests. And then have your little starboard aft bunk there that you can turn into a storage room, a bunk room, or a work room as is needed. Back on board, just a quick look now. Looking up and down the double spreader mast on that beautiful 60. There's your beautiful aft settee and barbecue area. Okay, let's look at some pre-owned comparables and see what we come up with. So bearing in mind, we always take the base price, add 50% to come up with a sail away on any of our new yachts that we're looking at. And in this case, that'd take this to about $4.1 million. Our first comparison is a 2021 Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 62. They are asking 1.2 million versus 1.4 for our new Yacht 60. There's a lot to like about the Beneteau Oceanus 62. It has acres of swim platform when you drop that aft deck. It has a hardtop option. It's beautifully upholstered inside and out. They use a lovely piping on their external cushions with an offset dark brown. I mean, it really looks nice. They have lovely upholstery on the foredeck, but it's down below. I don't like the forward berth, although I like it better than what they're doing now on the new one. I don't like the split saloon kitchen running straight down the middle, which makes your saloon feel small and your kitchen widely exposed. Not a configuration. I would probably pay the additional $200 if I could get my custom configuration. Next up, we are looking at the boat that I like but can't pronounce the name. So whoever wants to give it a shot, give it a shot. I'm not going to try it. It's a 2018 Pilot Saloon 58 World Cruiser. So we're looking at a 4-year-old boat here. Very nice boat. Your level of finish in these is way higher than standard production. So this is a 58-foot, 2 foot shorter, 4 years old. They're looking $705, so it's half the price. I'd have to think about that one. I still, if I could get my custom configuration, I like the Yacht 60 a lot better. Whether I like it twice as much, we'd have to see. Up next, we're looking at a 2017 Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60. This is a 5-year-old boat. We're looking at $700,000. And, it's a nice vessel, half the price, 5 years old. It'll have some toys on there. It is quite dark inside. It has the forward master suite that I'm not in love with. But it's a lot of boat. If I had the money, I'd go for the Yacht 60. As a reversal, today we're doing monohull Puritan Purgatory, and we're looking at comparative catamarans to the monohull. So again, we're going to look at a 50-foot catamaran versus a 60-foot monohull to do proper apples-to-apples comparative on the living space. Our first up is a Lagoon 50. She's a near new boat at 2022. They're asking $1.2 million. I'd have to think long and hard. There's a few things that I like about this, a few things that I don't, such as their fly bridge. But that's a lot of space. It's a lot of boat for $200,000 less. Next up, we're looking at the Neil 51. It's a 2022, a near new boat. They're asking on this one $1,250,000 versus $1,405,000. On this one, I'd have to go with the Jeanneau. I'd pay the extra. I like the aesthetic, and I'm living in it for 5 years, staring at the thing. The minimalist format of the Neil 51 doesn't do it for me. Next up is an Outremer 51. It's a 22, almost new, 1.4 versus 1.4. I'd have to go with the Outremer on this one, although I might think about it. The 51 isn't my fave. The 52, I wouldn't even hesitate. That'd be the 52. But the 51, it's a near new boat. It's going to have toys added to it. For the same price, it'd have to be the Outremer, and Sylvia would be much happier. Here we've got 22 a Leopard 50 for $1.350 versus, and it's near new at 22 versus 1.4 for the Jeanneau Yacht 60. I immediately have to do the Leopard 50. It's even though it's heavy, it's still going to be faster than the Jeanneau as a monohull, and it just has oodles and oodles of space, and I know Sylvia would be happier than a pig in mud on board. Okay, now we're into the Dave score. So where did she end up? Well, she did extremely well. You're looking at 73 out of 100, putting her right there with the Leopard and the Balance 442. Mind you, cheaper than the balance 442 if I recall correctly. So it's in about the right area. So how does it stand up? So the interior, the elegance, 8 out of 10. It's a beautiful interior, beautifully executed. The exterior, 8 out of 10. Lots of fabulous areas, beautifully done. Comfort, interior, 8 out of 10 for sure, especially if I have the dual master configuration. Exterior, 8 out of 10 for sure. You have all that space, the drop-down swim platform. I mean, it's just a fantastic boat. Quality, solid 7 out of 10. Maybe higher, but 7 out of 10. Performance, a 5 out of 10. It's a monohull, but it does pretty good. Lazy Sailor, 7 out of 10. Everything comes back. You got beautiful line baskets. All the lines are enclosed. The condo, 8 out of 10. This thing feels like a condo inside. Very nice. Geek score, 7 out of 10. And value for the money, a solid 7 out of 10, giving us 73 out of 100 for the Jeanneau Yacht 60. Moving to our art of the region this week, we're looking at Auguste Renoir, Regatta at Armagnac, 1874 oil on canvas. With intuitive, emotive manipulations of color and an expansive vocabulary of short, quick, loose brush strokes, Pierre-Auguste Renoir helped pioneer the Impressionist school of painting. Along with his friend Claude Monet, he privileged spontaneity and the particularity of light over traditional artistic techniques. Though Renoir eventually moved away from this style and again embraced classical methods, his experimentation and formal rigor influenced 20th century modernists such as Pablo Picasso. Renoir's joyful, light-filled landscapes and portraits, such as Dance at Le Moulin de la Galette, 1876, are still among the most recognizable works in the Western canon. His work has sold for 8 figures at auction and belongs in the collections of countless museums, including the Metropolitan Museum of Art. This particular painting sold for $71 million at Sotheby's in 1990. Well, that's our yacht for the week. I know it was a little unexpected as a monohull, but man, there is something sexy and romantic, and so sexy and romantic it might sway my sensibilities, but it would mean that Sylvia would have to tolerate that healing action, and I'd have to be very, very careful with the head sail not to scare the living daylights out of her. Anyways, that's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed the wine. They're actually our spirits. Hope you enjoyed the art, and definitely hope you enjoyed this beautiful yacht. We'll see you back next week. Cheers.